Hey, we are here at Perelandra Natural Foods in Brooklyn, and we're here because we're going to be making a raw vegan tart with Meredith Graves today. And Meredith, apart from making raw vegan tarts, is a queer feminist punk singer, and we're going to talk to her about what it's like to occupy those identities in that space. So let's go make some awesome things.
Done music, and I started going to punk shows when I was like 14 or so. Yeah.
My name is Meredith Graves. I am a writer and I sing in a band called Perfect Pussy.
We have a record out. It's called Say Yes to Love. We are just a really annoying, noisy, violent, kind of crazy person hardcore band.
So you identify as queer and a feminist, and you're in the punk scene.
Yes.
Can you talk to me about what that's like?
It's like anything to do with queerness or punkness or feminism separately on their own. It's a constantly shifting dynamic. It's something that's always moving and changing.
Riot Girl and music like Riot Girl seemed to me incredibly simplistic, but the visuals made perfect sense. Girls in their bras with stuff written on their stomachs, with hairy armpits and no makeup, and making art out of cut up pictures, like that made perfect sense to me. The first people I ever met that were even like vaguely into the stuff that I was starting to be interested in, they all loved it. So like Riot Girl was like a thing I went along with to get girls. I loved so much more than the music, and I still took a lot away from Riot Girl. And now I love the music. Now I want to listen to it all the time. It definitely was a fire that forged me.
Even in the punk scene, women aren't supposed to be angry. That's the thing. It's crazy. Like, you're not supposed to want to start fights or be confrontational. I don't ever mean to say women. I mean to say, like, non-cis dude people.
Right.
And what happened very naturally was me being extraordinarily violent. And it felt great. In some subsects of punk and hardcore, women are not supposed to be angry no matter what kind of sounds they make on stage. You gotta keep up musically. You have to be as tough as the guys. You have to be as tough as the people who are setting the standard, but God forbid you speak up if you see something that's going wrong. The physicality of our live shows is really, really important to me. I have to wear myself out. I'm too anxious. I have too much energy. So I get on stage and I do what I do because it liberates me of my anxiety. And it helps me go on another day. When we're not touring, I get kind of crazy. That's when I start baking. Yeah. All this is raw pecans and dates. If you press it really well, you can push it into a dough that will basically congeal. You can take your thumbs and kind of shape it up the sides of the pan.
My wife is a musician and plays with artists who were heavy in the punk scene, and I always aligned in my brain what punk was about with like queer ideals and feminist ideals. But I've heard
hope.
I assumed, and what I've learned is that that actually is not always or often the case.
The punk scene is so diverse. At one show, you're going to see people who adhere themselves to all manner of subsects, people with all different backgrounds who are into all different sounds, you know, have all different political beliefs.
Do you identify with a particular piece of it, or just kind of?
No. I mean, I definitely used to see myself as being a specific part of it. And then we started this band, and once we started to get mainstream attention, a lot of the people in the punk scene were like, well, screw you now. And at the time, I'm like, I'm still here. Like, I come from this community, support me. And now I'm like, actually, I kind of have to admit that we're way further outside of it now. It's really good.
Can you talk to me about how your audiences connect with you through your music?
The people that like our band are more often than not people that are drawn to it for the emotional release aspect. I try to be really cognizant of what's going on in front of me when I'm on stage to make sure that everyone is adequately cared for so no one gets hurt at our shows. I can't honestly say like, I'm against stage diving, I'm against moshing. I just need to make sure everyone is safe because it's gonna happen anyway. And there have been multiple occasions where I've looked out into the chaos in front of the stage and seen people crying. And that is awesome because I've cried on stage more times than I can count.
I want people to have fun always, and I understand the pleasure of acting crazy. That's why I do it still. I can't ever have young women get hurt at our shows by men and not have them be held accountable.
Very little about violence is actually about letting go. Masculinity and hardcore and violence are so associated. That's not about letting go. I can't let go in a masculine violent environment. If I've created an environment where people that harbor those feelings feel safe letting them out in other ways, that's my job. I literally do that for a living. That is the coolest thing ever. That's why I stay around after we play, is to like talk to kids. I've heard everything from I have a teacher that victimizes me, I have a teacher that bullies me, to like I'm in the process of getting out of an abusive relationship and I've had tickets to this show for a month and I just wanted to come tell you. I've had letters from people who told me that seeing my band made them feel like it was okay to start transitioning. The people that like my band are other very emotional people. Doing this band, allowing myself to be violent and to be chaotic and to be sensitive and to scream and to not be pretty and to not be perfect and to not try to keep up with anyone's expectations, even my own, to just go on stage and be a raging crazy person and just tell everyone exactly how I'm feeling and to be direct and to not put on any artifice, to just go out and heave until I want to die and then to lay down and then it's over. That's the reason people show up. And what I want to come out of it in a perfect world, and it has, I know in a couple of instances again, is other people starting bands so they can be heard. That's the goal of all of this. That's one great lesson that hardcore taught me, is that at its best, it's going to encourage you to do it yourself and start your own band.
There are bands of young people having really ridiculously important conversations to uplift each other. They're not making that music for anyone but themselves and each other, and they're blowing up. It's an incredible time to be alive.
This start is amazing. Good work. My question for you this week is, what musicians or music movements or music genres have meant the most to you, and how do they intersect with your queer or feminist or other identities? Thank you for being here in your apartment with us today.
Thank you for coming to my house.
Yeah, and thank you for making this tart. You should subscribe to our channel and keep watching things, because that's what people do who are cool.